And there's 5 of us. And Jenna. I hope she doesn't move in the middle of this. How many of you hate the sinking feeling you get when you go to the gas station and can physically feel your wallet get lighter as you pump gas into your car? I do too. And for that reason, I want to take a few minutes to tell you about the future of fuel technologies. Many of you have probably seen a Toyota Prius, but even a few of you have seen a new Nissan Leaf. They're ugly. And maybe if you're lucky, you've seen a Tesla Roadster. They're pretty cool. What all of these have in common is that they're electric cars, and they use batteries to power an electric motor that propels them to highway speeds. Unfortunately, electric cars are kind of inefficient. You're paying for the electricity via your house electricity bill because you have to plug it in at night versus paying at the gas station, and they don't do a lot better than gasoline cars. It costs pretty close to the same to run an electric vehicle. So, in the not too distant future, I think we'll see hydrogen-powered vehicles. So, you ask, why hydrogen? Hydrogen is a viable fuel source. It's actually the most plentiful element in the universe. I'm sure you've all heard that from your high school chemistry classes. For those of you that are lucky enough to have taken chemistry again in college, you've probably heard it reiterated. I found it reiterated in an article recently produced by CNN that talked about the future of hydrogen propulsion. Also, from another article I found via Forbes magazine, hydrogen actually produces, according to this author, more oomph than gasoline. So what that means is basically that like pound for pound or liter for liter of fuel, you're getting a lot more out of hydrogen than you would out of an internal combustion engine. I'm sure you've all seen a hydrogen atom before. They have protons and electrons, and by splitting them, that's where the electricity comes from. So how does a hydrogen car work, you ask? With hydrogen cars, the idea is that hydrogen is stored in a tank in the rear. So I have a small diagram of a hydrogen car here. This is the tank you would be working with. And from the tank, hydrogen flows into a, for lack of a better word, percolator. It actually it pushes the hydrogen through this kind of box thing, and as it percolates down through it, the hydrogen protons and electrons split. The electrons are siphoned off into a battery, which then powers an electric motor, same as an electric car, just like a Prius or your Tesla Roadster. But instead of plugging your car in at night, every 300-ish miles you stop and fill up with more hydrogen, which at this point is pretty cheap. The only problem is that there's not a lot of infrastructure out there yet. The neat thing about hydrogen cars is that the only byproduct, rather than smog emissions, is actually water and some heat. But the heat is nothing to worry about with the car, and the water is minimal when it comes out via the tailpipe. And then, are there hydrogen-powered cars on the road today? Yes, there are. In Southern California, you can actually lease a Mercedes-Benz B-Class, and there's not very many of them out there. I think there's roughly 100 that you can actually lease. Most of them are in California, some of them are in England, and there's like 3 or 4 hydrogen stations in Southern California at the moment, so it's not terribly effective. This is the Mercedes B-Class that I'm talking about. And the other one, which where a lot of my information came from, is Honda's website. Honda has the FCX, which is a hydrogen-powered vehicle that they're working on as well, and it's also available in California. The picture you see there is from Forbes magazine, and it's where their rider actually got to drive one around for a week. So the infrastructure is getting there. There's actually, in Norway, there's an initiative called Hynor, which is where they have a completely hydrogen highway. And on said highway, there's a hydrogen gas station, or not a gas station, but a hydrogen filling station every 100 or so miles. And so they have a conference every year that's associated with this, and it's just basically to promote hydrogen vehicles. They're making a lot of progress with it. The main problem right now is making it cost effective. It's close, but until it's kind of a catch-22, because either you have the infrastructure and the cars don't get developed, or the cars don't get developed without the infrastructure. So hopefully we'll see one or the other happen pretty soon, but as you can see, Mercedes and Honda are both working their way towards it. They're actually, like I said, there are cars on the road, so it's not too far off. So hopefully in the future here, we won't have to worry about that sinking feeling you get in your wallet when you fill up your car with gasoline. Now it'll be a much less, and you'll be filling it with hydrogen. Thank you. Put that back. Look, everybody's still here. Thanks, and